How do you get to 5% body fat without counting calories and without counting macros? Is it even possible to get to such a low body fat percentage without meticulously tracking every last thing that you're eating? Well, in today's video, I'm not only going to give you an honest answer to this question, but I'm also going to tell you exactly how to get lean and shredded without always having to track every last calorie. In order to do this, you have to first make sure that you actually understand what food constitutes as a carb, let's say, and what counts as a protein and what counts as a fat. You have to have this basic understanding to be able to track without actually tracking. Because keep in mind, even when you're not counting calories, it doesn't mean that you're just burning body fat by eating whatever food in whatever quantities you want. This isn't a magic cheat code. You still have to have a rough idea of how much you're taking in one day. One way to do this is to use your hands to portion out your food. For the average person, you're going to need about 4 to 5 palms of protein per day. If you weigh a lot, like let's say over 250 pounds, you may need to go all the way up to 6 to 7 palms of protein per day. Keep in mind that if you have a protein shake, that's going to count as one of your palms of protein for the day. Using the same method for the carbs when trying to burn fat, you want to have about 3 to 6 cupped hands of carbs for the day. This number can go all the way up to 8 cupped hands of carbs if you're in the high 200s or above. For veggies, you want to have about 3 to 4 fists per day, so a fist. Try to stick to mostly green vegetables while staying away from the starchy ones. Lastly, for your fats, as long as you're not taking a ketogenic approach, you want to have about 2 to 4 tablespoons of fat for the day. If you wanted to take more of that ketogenic approach, you would just cut out the carbs and double or triple your fat intake. Keep in mind that these are just general guidelines that'll apply to most people, and luckily, since we're using our hands to determine our portions, usually our hand size will correlate with your weight. However, there's no way that I can tell you exactly how much you need because everybody's different. So this is going to take some trial and error on your end. For example, if you feel a little sluggish and tired, you might want to throw in some extra carbs and fats for that one day. Also keep in mind, you could spread those portions out however it is that you want throughout your day. So if you want to have 5 palms of protein in one meal, go for it. If you want to have 1 palm 5 times a day, go for it. It's not going to make that much of a difference at the end of the day. To speed up the fat burning process even more, without counting calories, you can throw in some no carb days where all your other macronutrient measurements stay the same, but you just cut out carbs for the day. And you could just throw in 2 or 3 of those no carb days for the entire week. Another route you could take that many superstitious people are terrified of is you can do an alternate day fast here and there. And that would be just eating significantly less food, or if you can, no food at all for 1 or 2 days a week. I personally prefer on these days to have 1 or 2 lean protein sources to curb my appetite and to keep my body from sacrificing lean tissue. But that would be it for the day. If you're already portioning out your meals and you're throwing in a couple days where you fast, your body is going to have no choice but to pull from fat stores for energy. The last time that I did a modeling gig, I didn't count calories or macros at all. And honestly, the biggest reason why I was able to get away with that was because I've counted calories so many times that I now can feel when I need some extra carbs, or when I need to cut back on the carbs to burn some extra fat. Or when I'm cutting and I start to feel lousy, I might throw in some extra fats for the day, and I'll do the same if my joints are starting to hurt during a cut. This last time, I only ate 2 meals a day. My first meal would be 2 to 3 palms of fatty proteins such as salmon, with about 3 to 6 cupped hands of brown rice for the carbs, and 1 fist of green vegetables like cooked spinach and a drizzle of olive oil for the fat. And then my second meal would be 2 to 3 palms of lean protein like chicken breast or cod, with 1 to 2 fists of veggies with some garlic and another tiny bit of olive oil. So no carbs in that meal. And that's pretty much all I did to get really, really ripped for that photo shoot. Again, keep in mind that I weigh 200 pounds, so if you follow the same exact diet structure that I just laid out for you, but you weigh 100 pounds, you might gain weight. The goal is to learn how to not have to track your calories and macros and to get effortless results. And I know it sounds kind of backwards, but to actually be able to perfect this, you have to become more aware of the amount of calories and macros in all the various different foods that you currently eat. And honestly, I know you guys are going to hate this answer, but the best way above all to do this, and this is the honest truth, is to spend a period of time actually tracking all your calories and all your macros. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to be tracking your calories and your macros forever, but a lot of people want to not track their calories and not track their macros, and they don't even know what a macro really is. If you don't know that rice is more of a carb and chicken is more of a protein source, and you've never portioned out your food before, and you've never actually looked at nutrition labels of the different foods that you eat, then you don't have any ground to stand on to even begin. So this is a necessary thing to do. It's kind of like a catch-22, but after tracking your calories and your macronutrients for just 6 weeks, you'll start to understand the basics of what a carb is and what counts as protein and what counts as fat and about how much is in each food item that you eat. You'll understand if your chosen carb source is a high carb carbohydrate or a lower carb carbohydrate. Is it a mix of fat and protein, or is it just a lean protein source? The only way you could know this information is by spending that period of time tracking. And again, that period of time that I recommend is about 6 weeks. If you've already tracked in the past, then you could just go straight to using your hands to portion out your food, and you can start listening to your body and make adjustments over time, okay? Now, if I was trying to drop to, like, let's say 5% without having to track any of my calories or calculate any calories, I would go about this by not having much variety in my diet. To get to such a low body fat percentage, your diet has to be close to perfect. So I would get all my numbers figured out for the diet before I even started, and then just stick to the same foods every week. This way I would know that I'm staying in the proper calorie and macro ranges without tracking. By limiting variety, you can have similar meals every week without having to bust out the scale or the calculator. Now, I know eating the same thing every day sucks, but nobody said that dropping to 5, 6, or even 7% body fat is easy. So you either stick to the same foods or you track. Unfortunately, there's no magic to this. So again, just to recap, in order to not have to track your calories, 1, you want to spend a portion of time actually tracking calories and reading nutrition labels. This portion of time should be at least 6 weeks long. 2, you want to use your hands to eyeball your portions without busting out the scale. 3, you want to limit the variety in your diet to keep things simple, and this leads to more of an established daily diet structure. And 4, you need to be in tune with your body from prior practice so you know when you can throw in some fasting or some no carb days, or when you need to add some extra fats and some extra carbs to recover. So that's it. I really hope this video has helped you out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave it a big thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to this channel to view more tips and tricks just like this. And I hope to see you guys soon. Pump it.